Okay, Miss. Good morning to everyone. His Excellency, Professor Sudarshan Seneviratne, the High Commissioner in Sri Lanka, High Commission in Bangladesh, diplomatic officials from Sri Lanka High Commission in Bangladesh, and the distinguished audience, dear speakers, and my dear colleagues. So, on behalf of EDB, I would like to warmly welcome all of you to the today webinar on Sri Lanka logistic industry. So, without taking much time, I would like to invite Ms. Indumini Kodikara, Director Export Services of EDB, to deliver the opening remarks.
Thank you, Pridarshini. Okay, very good morning to all of you. And His Excellency Professor Sudarshan Seneviratne, the High Commissioner, Sri Lanka High Commission in Bangladesh, and the officials of the Sri Lanka High Commission in Bangladesh, industry representatives from Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, and dear colleagues. So this webinar is actually organized by the Sri Lanka Export Development Board in collaboration with the Sri Lanka High Commission in Bangladesh, actually to provide a clear understanding on what Sri Lanka can offer and the potential of the logistics sector in Sri Lanka to the Bangladesh participants, the industry participants that we have with us today. And EDB has identified the logistics sector as a potential export sector to develop and promote to increase the foreign exchange earnings to the country. So Sri Lanka is blessed with several competitive advantages when compared to other regional countries. One key advantage is the strategic location where it is. And the other one is the absence of a logistics hub between Dubai and Singapore. Like those two are very key to the logistics sector in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka logistics sector contributes around 2.5% of the GDP to the country, which is around $2 billion USD. And the industry provides full-time direct employment for about 40,000 people in Sri Lanka. And our industry representatives will provide more insight to you today because there are like one speaker, we have a keynote address, then we have a speaker from Board of Investment of Sri Lanka. He will also tell you like what are the required requirements that is required when you come and invest in Sri Lanka. And we have other industry representatives who will give you more on what they offer as industry participants from Sri Lanka. And we hope this will be a great opportunity, a win-win situation for both the Bangladesh logistics industry and Sri Lanka logistics industry, and to connect with Sri Lanka and to provide better services in the near future. So without taking much time, because it started a little bit delayed also, wish you all a successful webinar, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Indumini, for your valuable thoughts. Now I cordially invite His Excellency Professor Sudarshan Seneviratne, the High Commissioner, Sri Lanka High Commission in Bangladesh, to address the participants.
Thank you, everyone. A very happy New Year to all of you all, and Indumini and Pridarshini and all participants who are involved with this Zoom meeting. It's anyway a timely initiative what you all have taken, because we have been putting together various facets moving towards a successful logistical application, both aviation and nautical. Now, apart from that, as Indumini told, we are having a very useful and what you call strategic location of Sri Lanka, and how do we apply this whole thing. Now, from the what you call background of the High Commission, we are looking at the larger version of nautical and aviation aspects that are linked to our broad-based strategy, what we are applying from our High Commission. This goes into both commercial, then also tourism, then also various other areas that are linked to our investment plan. So in the tourism plan, the nautical aspect is heavily involved because we are looking at new initiatives of luxury cruisers going to Sri Lanka. So we have to see how this is applied from Chittagong, or the new harbor that is coming up probably in another 5 to 6 years, the Matabari deep sea harbor that is coming up, which is going to be a hub, a new hub. I think we have to take what you call cognizance of this particular harbor, because that will take a huge chunk of what you call nautical activities in South Asia. The High Commission has been instrumental in also supporting the feeder service and the coastal shipping service that is coming up very soon into action, which will augment again our involvement in the nautical area for logistical reasons. Then also how much we are going to get involved in the commercial activities linked with especially Chittagong and Sri Lanka, and also coastal shipping that will link the long-term or the long-range activities connecting Colombo, Trincomalee, and also Hambantota. Now, apart from this, we are looking at the bigger picture. I think some of us tend to miss this, the Bay of Bengal initiatives, because this is the thing that is coming up in the future where Sri Lanka needs to and it must take cognizance of the Bay of Bengal activities, both for resources, especially things on the blue economy, and also how the Bay of Bengal, strategizing Bay of Bengal utilization by our two countries. Because Bangladesh and Sri Lanka are equal stakeholders where the Bay of Bengal is concerned. We are at the two ends of Bay of Bengal. So what really happens that in the new power play of Bay of Bengal, the interest parties from outside, this will impact our movement, especially in this area. So that is one thing. Then also finally, also what you call the aerial connection. We are having Sri Lanka already operating. We are having FITS operations starting very soon. We are waiting for the green light from the Bangladesh end, which is also on their desk, I believe. And also the US-Bangla operation in what you call aviation activities. So we are having what you call main areas now in place. So what we have to do is to go to the next level of development and to see how we tie up those ends with our harbors and also the infrastructure provided by our country for those who are coming to make use of Sri Lanka, both nautical and aviation. So with those thoughts, I'd like to leave this Zoom meeting. I'll be there, but I wish you all luck. And also one final thing, which I must also say that all Sri Lankan participants must remember that the Sri Lanka High Commission in Dhaka is the focal point. And I'm kind of reluctant to say, but very recently a government organization had a big, what you call, connection with the shipping groups here, but they hardly contacted us. So please remember that we are the focal point when it's come to government protocol and also other legal aspects. It has to go to Sri Lanka High Commission. Okay, please remember that, because very often people come as individuals or as companies. It won't work in the long run. So I'm just, please remember this, and I'd like you all to leave with a very successful and fruitful discussion today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your fruitful and informative speech. Now may I invite Professor Lalit Dean, Faculty of Management and Social Sciences, Campus Sri Lanka, for the keynote address.
Good morning, His Excellency Professor Sudarshan Seneviratne, High Commissioner Sri Lanka in Bangladesh, and other panelists, as well as the officers from the EDB and ladies and gentlemen. Now I will just move with the slides now. First to introduce this the Sri Lankan strategic location. We are in the crossroads of major shipping routes to South Asia, the Far East, and the continents, Europe and America as well. And it's also located among the most significant sea lines of communication. That is a prominent factor where we are in the prominent player in the Indian Ocean region. And this is how, very popular kind of a slide, but you can see that how strong, from you can see the red color is very dark there. That is a high density of shipping lines movement, via Colombo, or rather close to the Colombo port, as well as for Sri Lanka. And you can see, since we are going to talk about logistics, I just want to, give a brief introduction of what logistics is for the benefit of all those who are getting involved in this particular subject. It's a strategic coordination of activities of transportation and warehousing that fuel the production and trading of goods, because shipping is a derived demand. It's not a direct demand. So therefore, we need to produce something and sell to somebody, so that it derives the demand for shipping, or rather for transport for that matter. And what are the key stakeholders that we have, where when we start a business or rather invest on that, we need to consider this shipper, consignee, carriers, logistics, warehousing, service providers, agents, the governments, the consumers, and all that is linked because of the logistics. So that is where in any supply chain, this is where we link and improve the flow by efficient logistics. And you can see this the strategic location that we are in, and comparatively you can see how strong position we are in here. If you take Colombo, compare it to the other regional ports, you can see I have highlighted in yellow there. The deviation time from the main sea route is just 0.06, and it's a huge advantage. And due to that, the vessel deviation cost is also very low for Sri Lanka. The fuel cost and port access charges, cost of time in port, and total marginal cost in all that is very, very competitive in Sri Lanka. It's a huge advantage for any investor who would like to do business in logistics, or rather any manufacturer for his imports and exports. These are real advantage. And from Sri Lanka to the other ports, you can see this our being the middle of the world sort of a thing. We are very strong in delivering goods in a faster manner, especially in the sea delivery, where most of the cargo is being transported. Basically it's 85 to 90% of cargo is being transported by sea. So with our strategic location, those are advantages for those who intend investing in logistics in Sri Lanka. And as I mentioned earlier, now for you to have a demand in transportation, you need to have someone selling something to another person, so that we are getting through the various trade agreements. And so therefore we always have in the middle of the world sort of a thing. So we are connected with many ports, many countries, and when we have more trade agreements, that means we are more exposed to the world and more exposed to logistics business. And just telling about the Sri Lankan scenario, we have in our total external trade, we have 67% of imports and 33% of exports. This was in the recent years. I think this situation will be little, I think just 1% change in the recent past, where we curtailed many imports. And the main area that I want to highlight for the intended investors from Bangladesh is that the transshipment volume. This transshipment volume is a huge potential you have, where we have seen the gradual increase in the transshipment volume, and it's about 75% of Sri Lanka external trade consists of this transshipment volume. It's both the laden cargo as well as empty containers. And this is the present capacity that we have. And you can see, compared to this, the deep depth we have in our ports and the draft we can offer. And with the government of the JCT terminals and the UCT as well as SAGT, and then moving on to the private terminals like SAGT, and from there CICT, ECT, and ECT presently having 1 and then 3 gantry cranes, and but they will be increasing it to with another 2 with 9, so it will be 12 in the future. That will be delivered in 2024 next year, and then again in 2025 we will have another additional 3 berths with 14 gantry trains from CWIT. So these are the potential that you all will have in Sri Lanka. And if you just quickly touch on the doing business, the Sri Lanka ranking is we are at 99, and can compare it with the Bangladesh situation, and can see how potential Sri Lanka is. And also, if you check on this, I'm just quickly running through, but you can just check on this global competitiveness report also, where you get a lot of information about the available facilities or other capacity available in Sri Lanka for logistics industry. And we have powerful industry associations. One is the Sri Lanka Logistics and Freight Forwarders Association, where they presently have about 150 leading freight forwarding companies, and there are 2 affiliated members, Joint Apparel Association and as well as Association of Clearing Forwarding Agents. Also, we have for shipping, we have Ceylon Association of Shipping Agent, CASA, with over 135 members and considered to be the voice of the shipping industry in Sri Lanka. And we have a lot of strengths and opportunities. We have been mentioning this. We see East-West maritime trade links, transshipment hub for the region, modern port facilities to handle large container vessels, availability of land for future expansions, ability to offer higher value chain activities in global trade. So we need the global trade to be touched. You can't do shipping and logistics in isolation. You need to work with the world. And growth in vessel size and consolidation in shipping lines, belt and road initiatives, able to act as hub for South Asia for trade to Africa, Middle East, Europe, and Asia. And the Indian growth, because of the derived demand factor, this Indian growth is very, very beneficial for Sri Lankan logistics scenario. Our vision and the potential is to enhance the logistics education in secondary and higher education sector, because we need a lot of people who can handle this particular area in a very professional manner. Develop integrated national policy framework for logistics and transportation. We are presently doing it recently. Last week we had the final meeting of finalizing the logistics policy of Sri Lanka, which will be beneficial for all those who are coming to invest in Sri Lanka. And we are investing more on research. We have a lot of projects funded by the World Bank, and UN SCAP, so that we are moving with a lot of research for the benefit of the entire world, not only for Sri Lanka, not only for the region, but for the world. And I personally look into the active women participation in logistics industry. That is the challenge given to me by the UN SCAP to increase women participation, which I'm presently working on that project. And with regard to this human capacity building, we approach in two ways: formal education as well as the on-the-job training, where you can see some photos that of our activities, where we want to increase the awareness about logistics sector from the school level. Because anyway, we have been teaching this subject at the university level from 2007, and our government university, Moroto University, has started in 2005. But we wanted to vertically integrate this with the school, and then come into the university, and then connecting with the industry. And we also publish a textbook for the first time in the local language to support this market awareness. And we established a National Day for Logistics. I think we are the second country in the world to do that. And we have women gantry operators, and they have taken a real challenge, and they are really beneficial. And we are actively getting the women involved in logistics jobs now. And as a concluding remark, I must say that Sri Lanka is the emerging logistics hub in South Asia, and increasing flow of transshipment cargo through this island. Those are the benefits that you will get. Expanding Port of Colombo to meet growing demand, we are working on that, and it will continue. Hambantota Port is a new growth driver for logistics business, and then foreign participation is considered as the key to future development. So these are my concluding remarks. And so I wish everyone who wish to invest in Sri Lanka in the logistics sector. So connecting nations is enabling opportunities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor, for your informative speech. Now may I invite Mr. T. Vinodma, Senior Deputy Director, Investor Services of the Board of Investment, with the presentation on BI facilities for the investors.
Thank you. Good morning. His Excellency, the Professor Sudarshan Senaviratne, the members of the board panel, officials of the EDB, and the investors. My presentation will touch upon the laws involved in a hub operation, relevant successive gazette notifications, the application of laws overruled by this Commercial Hub Act, advantage of Sri Lanka as a commercial hub country, the available location to conduct hub business, the threshold of FDI for each and every activity, the activities you will be able to do as a hub company, investment amount of each activity, the details of activities, and what are the do's and don'ts. When you consider the country to set up a commercial hub company, the most salient feature is the country's strategic location. The right location of air and sea connectivity will give a leap in the transportation. The connectivity to international transportation and the frequency in access of such transportation will help customers to look into the study of feasibility by which the location suit to their business. Thirdly, the infrastructure connected to this business is developed well to support to the customer's expectation as faster turnaround as much. The other one is the laws and regulations which allow the industry to seek pathway to make new international models greatly possible to fit into and fulfill the customer requirements. Sri Lanka is having the comparative advantage to her rivals because of her connectivity is very competitive. We have faster transit time to the destinations, namely the United States, East Coast and Europe regions. This fastest connectivity makes Colombo as a most appropriate hub location for our South Asian counterparts. When you see the air connectivity, our transit time from Katunayake Airport to other airports like Europe-based airports, it's around 2 to 3 days. United States-based airport, it will be around 4 to 5 days. Asia-based airport, 1 to 2 days. And the cargo transfer from sea port to airport, whether that's an FCL or LCL, will take only 1 or 2 working days. LCL cargo restuffing take only 1 to 3 working days. Strategically located centrally to key economies in the Indian Ocean, the Sri Lanka is very important, and we cover over 200 ships passing Sri Lanka water daily. Southern tip of Sri Lanka is just 8 nautical miles away from the main east-west shipping route, gateway to Indian subcontinent also. Inability to majority of the regional ports to accommodate the large vessels. When you take India and Pakistan, you will see that difference. Many economies treaties with regional countries, we have covenant too. Geographically, the designated commercial hub area like Freeport and bonded area are inside the Sri Lanka territory. But for the facilitation purpose, it is legally designated as outside the Sri Lanka custom territory by the act itself. So it will help the hub companies to act without payment of any levies applicable to Sri Lanka. Admission into the free port area or bonded warehouse are treated as outside Sri Lanka, and the duty is free, and the same would be applicable for the exports also. However, if the imports from the hub company to a local party, then the duty and other levies are applicable for those items. A new enterprise incorporated in Sri Lanka and engaged in 5 activities. They are entrepot trade, offshore business, providing front and end services, headquarters operations, logistics services. Then the investment from foreign sources should be not less than 65% of the total investment. That is our criteria for BOI. When a company is coming for the commercial hub regulations, they should satisfy that 65% of the investment should come from the foreign sources. This can include any transfers from any foreign exchange account operated in the licensed commercial bank. The minimum investment for entrepot trade is $5 million, and the company is expected to do minor processing exports or manufacturing or assembling with the minimum 10% value addition. Under entrepot trade, a company can do minor processing of the imports of goods and do exports of the same. It can also do manufacturing activity for exports if it is defined in the Principal Act, that is the Financial Act, as established in a specified bonded area. We look into that later. Offshore business needs $1 million, and in this offshore business, you can procure or manufacture from one country and shipped to another country without bringing to them to Sri Lanka, but profit can be remitted to Sri Lanka. Front-end services includes marketing, sales, business development, product design and development, supply chain management, quality assurance, quality control, and the minimum investment for front-end services is at least $1 million. And we have also the headquarters operations. It needs $1 million, and operation of international billing, quality control, financial services, administration and supply chain activities can be done through this headquarter operations. Logistics services are the fifth one, and it needs around, above $3 million as investment. Under logistics services, you can do warehousing operations, inventory management, logistic value additions, and for freight forwarding facility for the client abroad. There are 7 free ports and bonded warehouses dedicated in the commercial hub operation. They are Colombo Port, Hambantota Port, Matala Port. All 3 are the port and airports, and we have export processing zones: Katunayaka, Koggala, Mirijjavala, and Katunayaka airports. The role of the BOI in regard to this hub operations are, we are the approving authority for the enterprises under the designated acts, the Financial Act, and we enter into agreement with the enterprises under Section 17 of the BOI law, and under Section 17 you will get the duty-free facility for the companies, and if it is under Section 22(7), and you will be able to get the VAT exemption during the project implementation period. And exemption I have already mentioned here, and provide this prescribed enterprises to maintain detailed record including inwards and outward remittance. We have the facility for that. Introduce synchronized operational procedures with other stakeholders like Customs and Ports Authority. We are already linked with Asikoda World, and we have internal facility for in the paperless environment. At the moment, we have these 4 logistic services with other 2. It is the LAF gas terminal and the Sinopec one. It is not mentioned in here, but those 2 companies are fuel and LPG gas companies, and these are the normal hub operators. Under this hub operation, spices and allied products like pepper, arecanuts, nutmegs, those items are prohibited to bring down for trading, and the company also prohibited to do business on waste and processing business, recycling business. And there's a provision for sale in local market. It is introduced very recently. It's a new amendment to the Hub Act. And we are 65% of or more of the demand of the goods is met by imports to the country. Then the hub companies are eligible to sell up to 40% of the ex-work value of their re-export to the local market. We have already done this for the LPG gas and the heavy diesel also. And this facility will be given for maximum of 8 years. At present, list of items are the LPG gas, auto fuel, and fertilizers. Before winding up the session, I would like to recap the following. Sri Lanka is in a strategically important location which connects sea and air cargo movement swiftly, and having the necessary infrastructure to cater the demand with strong legislative backup. Hub investments needs at least 65% of the FDI. 5 business activity can be done in between $1 million to 5 million and hub business. Depend on national interest, local sale with tax payments are allowed, subject to some conditions. Some spices and narcotics cannot be traded under hub operations. And that's all the prior presentation from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Vinod. Now we move to the presentation by the key players in Sri Lanka logistic industry. So I would like to invite Mr. Rajiv Fernando, Head of Commercial, Hayleys Pre-Zone Private Limited, to do the presentation.
Thanks so much, Priyadarshani. Hope my presentation is visible.
Yes.
So, like Mr. Vinod mentioned, Advantis is one of the free zone operators or hub operators in Sri Lanka. And so let me just take you to the presentation straight away, taking into account the time frame. So these parts was also actually touched by Mr. Vinod in terms of where hubs can be established, what are the regulations involved. So here what I would like to mention is in terms of Sri Lankan based hubs, Colombo is extremely competitive in comparison to our competitors, main competitors out of Dubai and Singapore. In fact, our regulation or our legislation was derived based on the Singapore and Dubai legislation. So, so working through Colombo hubs is extremely efficient and easy to operate through. Let me just touch upon the exact concept. So like Mr. Vinod mentioned as well, we are considered as an offshore facility in terms of the legislation. What this means is our customers, may be freight forwarders or direct customers, can bring down goods to the free zone with very minimum customs and regulatory intervention. So they can bring LCL or less than container loads, full container loads, air freights, courier shipments to the hub in an extremely secure green channel mechanism. So once the goods come to the hubs, this is where actually the beauty can really happen, where our customers are allowed to add value to their products in terms of value additions. So your stickering, labeling, consolidation, repacking, quality checks, or whatever value addition that customers wish to do can be carried out at the hub prior to re-exporting out of the country. So I will not also touch upon the advantages of Sri Lanka as a hub location, as it was already mentioned by the previous participants. So just want to mention that since our establishment in 2012, which was not too far ago, Advantis Free Zone has expanded rapidly. We are currently engaging and serving more than 200 different customers worldwide, and the map here shows the locations that we actually export to. So if you look at Sri Lanka as a comparatively young hub, we as a hub service provider has expanded our services, and we are currently serving customers in significant locations. More than 50 countries around the world use the Sri Lankan based hub as their strategic location. So there's a lot of advantages, and these customers are enjoying the same. So some of the key advantages of using a Sri Lankan-based hub is as follows. So some of these points were touched, but let me just go through the same as well. I think the ambassador also mentioned the strategic location of Sri Lanka in when serving customers. So the subcontinent has about 1.8 billion. It's a huge emerging market. Whether you're European based or whether you're Far East based, all these companies in these regions want to get into the subcontinent, and Sri Lanka is a strategic location to penetrate this market. And when it comes to the other way around, or export from the region, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, all these countries are massive manufacturing hubs, and Sri Lanka offers a wonderful opportunity for all these countries to synergize, consolidate, value add, and use Sri Lanka as a launch pad to send their goods, consolidated goods, out to Europe, US from our location. Price is a big subject these days. So when you look at the more established hubs, Sri Lanka can offer about 60% cost savings in comparison to hubs like Singapore, and about 30 to 40% cost savings when you compare Dubai as a alternative. I touched upon the legislation as well. The legislation is extremely user-friendly, if I should say so. It's been designed based on the Singapore and Dubai legislation. So getting your goods into the hub, moving it out, it's extremely efficient. You actually only need 3 documents to bring goods to the hub. You need your invoice, packing list, and your BL, which has to be consigned to the hub operator. You don't have to have a presence. If you're a freight forwarder or a customer who's using a hub in Sri Lanka, you don't have to have a presence in Sri Lanka to utilize services of a hub operator. As such, it's extremely efficient and easy for a company to start utilizing hubs. In terms of infrastructure, all our organizations, including Advantis, as well as my colleagues who will also present, are world-class infrastructure. We all operate and utilize high-end equipment. In terms of Advantis Free Zone, all our infrastructure in terms of our equipment is bought from European markets. They are all electric. Even the fracking, warehousing, all these infrastructure are European-based equipment. In terms of what you can do at a free zone, these are some of the things that you can do, but I would leave it to the imagination of our participants to come up with the concepts as well. So from simple consolidations to multi-country consolidations, garments on hangers, quality assurance, customizing, packing, you name it, all these operations can be done at our hubs, and they are already happening as well. So if you're actually visiting Sri Lanka, you're more than welcome to come and visit our locations as well, to actually experience the services that are offered by Sri Lankan-based hubs. Like I mentioned, in terms of Advantis Free Zone, we currently carry out we have over 50 different commodity verticals, ranging from apparel right up to aircraft spare parts, to packing material, aid cargo. So chemicals, multiple industry verticals are managed efficiently at our warehouse facilities, and we have the expertise and the experience as warehouse infrastructure to cater to all these international customers with the most stringent quality assurances. In terms of our facilities, we are based out of Katunayaka, which is about 5 minutes away from the international airport, and about 25 kilometers or 30 kilometers away from the international seaport, which is connected directly by the highway. So transiting from the airport, from the seaport to the hub, virtually can be done within 30 to 40 minutes time. In terms of our infrastructure, we have 2 warehouse complexes which can accommodate a significant amount of cargo. So one of the warehouses, which is known as Venus, can accommodate about 16,000 CBM worth of cargo, and this is a completely racked solution, offering ground plus 7 racking facilities, and the other warehouse is completely a ground storage facility, which can offer about 150,000 square foot of ground storage capabilities. We also have temperature controlled, humidity controlled facilities, which can be utilized for our clients, and also multiple value addition locations that can be customized based on individual customers' requirements. So whatever value addition that they want to implement within their locations can be done within facilities. So some of the world-class features include tracking capabilities, RFID capabilities, and CCTV visibility capabilities, which are offered as basic capabilities within the hub. So I'll take you through 2 quick case studies just to give you an indication of what we can do and what we do for some of our customers. So this is basically a very large apparel manufacturer based out of the UK, and they consolidate their goods into the hub from multiple countries which manufacture from China, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and so on. So all these manufactured goods come to the hub, and based on the UK customers' requirement, we do pick and pack operations and value additions at the hub and then re-export. So these sort of operations have saved this international customer over 60,000 euros per season using the hub facility out of Sri Lanka. So there's a lot of advantage that a hub out of Sri Lanka can provide these customers, and these customers are currently enjoying the same. Some of the pictures of our operations taking place, the pick and pack operations, consolidations, and loading of operations are depicted in this slide. So this is basically the other way around, where goods from Europe or US or whichever country comes to the hub, and then we do a pick and pack operation, deconsolidation based on individual country requirements in the region. So it can be apparel, accessories, to you name it, electronic products can come to the hub, can be stored at the hub, and based on requirements in whichever country, we can do repacking and re-exports into these regions. So while we have multiple case studies due to the lack of time that we have, I'll just present these 2. But I will share with TDB the case study files and the presentation so that they can directly present it to the Sri Lankan mission as well as the participants. So that's about it, Priyadarshini, from my end.
Thank you, Raju, for your informative presentation. Then may I invite Mr. Kirti Seniviratne, Senior Manager, Marketing and Business Development, EFL Global Freeport Private Limited, to do the presentation.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity given from EDBN, as well as very big thanks for the High Commission and His Excellency, the High Commissioner of Bangladesh. I hope my presentation is visible, Priyadarshini.
No, it's not visible. We can see the.
You need to open the presentation.
Yeah, we see only.
I have opened it.
No, Explorer. We can see only the Explorer. Just go share screen and click on that particular presentation slide.
Is it visible now?
Yeah.
Yes, you can go ahead.
Slideshow.
Okay. Okay. So now we have gone through a lot of presentations by now, and we have covered most of the legislation side and what are the activities we can do. Now at EFL, we are a 40-year-old company, and we have grown into a global conglomerate within 4 decades. And at the EFL Global Freeport, we are behind EFL brand, and we are present in 39 countries and 70 locations. So anyone who's dealing with EFL can get the advantage of the network as well. So, and EFL has done Sri Lanka proud by Sri Lanka, putting Sri Lankan name on the top 50 forwarders list. So we are the 25th largest air freight forwarder and 36th largest ocean freight forwarder in the world. So then that's our brand. So when it comes to EFL Global Freeport, we are the first privately owned freeport establishment in Sri Lanka. And we have 24,000 square feet of warehouse, and we can hold up to 18,000 CBM. It's a fully racked warehouse with few areas where you can stack other cargo as well. And if you take the warehouse, it has 19 docks, and we operate using a tier 1 WMS, which can provide our customers with the highest visibility of their inventory and the highest accuracy of the inventory. We maintain 100% inventory accuracy, and we can do a lot of complex operations. These are some of the photographs that we have taken whilst doing some operations. So one of the main operations you can perform at our facility is the interport operation, which we can facilitate better with a faster and accurate visibility to customers, interport operations at our freeport rather than doing in our port. So this is another point, that we can cater to our customers multi-country consolidation through our tier 1 WMS. If a customer wants to do a PO splitting or even going into carton splitting operation, can be performed very efficiently and sent to multi countries with using the latest warehouse management systems and the other technologies. Actually, these operations are covered by a couple of, even Rajiv covered these operations. So I'll go into mainly what we can offer at EFL Freeport from the tech side. So one of the main features what we have at our digital portfolio is advanced analytics of and business intelligence tools. So even our own staff is trained on these, and we give our customers dashboard free of charge, where they can open their dashboard on their mobile phone and get the visibility of their whatever the operation doing performed at the warehouse, even the inventory level or the value addition, how many pieces completed by this time, they can see on a live dashboard. And we have gone, because to ensure the security, we have gone 100% cloud-based. So our servers are 100% cloud-based, and we have a TMS, transport management system, when goods arrived at the port, and when it's transferred to our freeport, they can if there is a requirement, we can give the access to the customer, where they can see the vehicle movement, like where you can see on a Uber or Uber app. So the other thing is our main feature, the tier 1 WMS we offer for customers, which now will be we have started RFID movements also for this, and which can come in handy, because most of the products are now moving towards RFID operations. So then we have used a couple of RPAs for our operations, where customers need daily reports, or maybe customized reporting. So any complex operation, if they need reports, we can get it done through RPA. And we have gone into smart sensor technology for temperature control cargo. So the customer can, if a customer has a sensor, he can track the products coming into the freeport, inside the freeport. If it is not, temperature is not tracked through our temperature tracking technology, we are giving the visibility to the customer. So And other service portfolio is again covered from our other presentations. So I will go through a bit of the compliances what we can offer for our customers. Now, this day and age, everybody is looking for certifications. So we are quality-wise, we are ISO certified for quality management. GOT certification we have for garments. We have business social compliance initiative certification when it comes to people handling, and we are a GDP certified facility, GMP certified, and some of the other customer approvals are there. And we have gone into LEED Gold certification as well. Entire Freeport facility is now running on solar. 90% of the energy requirement is provided through our solar roof. And when it comes to safety and security, we are CTPAT compliant, SCAN certified, and ISO 45001 certified for occupational health and safety. So that's my presentation for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kirti. Now may I invite Mr. Henri Fernando, Managing Director, Mac Holdings Private Limited, to do the presentation.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Priya. Thank you for the opportunity. So I'm here to come to basically discuss and promote logistics business collaborations with MAC. Can you hear me?
Sound is very faint. If you can talk a little bit louder, please. Yeah. And go to the presentation mode, the slideshow mode. Yes, yes, fine. Yes.
So good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for the time. And I'm here to present logistics business collaborations with MAC. We are a company which is 27 years on its own. But as a result of acquisition of a ships agency, now we boast of an acquired history of 150 years. Our corporate office also is a 150-year-old building, and we are into shipping, aviation, trade and logistics, hospitality and leisure, fisheries and aquaculture, strategic investments, and renewable energy. That's a snapshot of our organization. We have last year we achieved 12.6 billion in turnover, 200 plus people. We are a leading multi-country consolidation service provider with a Freeport facility, 4,500 tons of air freight, 25,000 TEUs in and out. And prior to COVID, we handled 10,000 passengers, various sectors, including our aviation now, where we hold the GSAs for 2 online carriers in Sri Lanka. Again, the line of businesses, I won't go through that because I just presented the same things to you earlier. So our freight and logistics sector, we provide the basic freight services, fashion logistics, contract logistics, an important area for most of you in the Bangladesh market. In Sri Lanka, we have free zone operations, supply chain management, project logistics, local haulage, and customs brokerage. In fact, we do have an office in Bangladesh, and we can provide you also CR services via our office in Bangladesh as a wholesale freight forwarder. So that's our scope of service from the freight and logistics business, from raw material, finished goods, value-added services, order processing, distribution, and after sales. and the various subsectors also under it, which we can handle, and we do handle currently for many customers. So if you look at the transshipment hub for Bangladesh traffic, that's Colombo, that is shown there. So we can bring in your goods by sea into Colombo or by air into Colombo and do the air shipments, or from Colombo we can do also sea air shipments. And the advantage is we have capacity, we have a better cost, and we have also hub services here, which basically all the mainline carriers calling Colombo port. And in terms of air freight also, we have quite decent amount of capacity, especially when your market is peaked up, which we can handle and support your products. So as a ships agency, we can also provide you line agency services, port agency services, bunker broking. We have our own bunker license, sea marshal services, additional services that you may require. I won't bore you with everything, but anybody needs that presentation from the Bangladesh market, they could always reach out to me, and then or to Priyadarshini, and I will have this emailed to you. So our contract logistics business, the core services, we have started promoting this also in Bangladesh, and we are keen to partner with anybody who has customers. We have bonded, unbonded storage solutions, block stack and racking, material handling, inventory management, order fulfillment, cross-docking services, reverse logistics, production logistics, quality inspection services, value-added services including pick and pack, labeling, bundling, etc. We can do logistics consultancy with KPI and MIS reporting, tech-driven warehouse and transport management with WMS and a transport management system, transport management, and the final mile delivery logistics. We have state-of-the-art logistics facilities. We are working with a third-party operator in Sri Lanka at the moment, but we have got our Freeport license similar to some of our other competitors. And we are in the process of basically carrying out the rest of the work on the facility. It is located right in front of the Colombo airport in the Karunaga Free Trade Zone, similar to some of the other operators. And that lies about 25 kilometers away from the port of Colombo. We will also have temperature control facilities within the warehouse. So Sri Lanka strategic location. So if we basically have access to 50% of the world's population, and that's at 27.78 trillion combined GDP available within 8 hours. So what you can do is, if you want to basically bring in your product, save it, store it here in our hub, and then re-export it at any given time to one of your buyers, with or without value-added services, that's where we can come in. And in the same manner, if you also want to bring in inward products into Bangladesh, and you want it stored in Sri Lanka for a certain period, then that's where we can come in as well. And rather than basically, trying to source goods at the last moment from very long distance or tough logistics serving locations, we can basically have all inventory positioned in Colombo on your behalf and supply to you on demand. So this is the location. The red color dot is our Freeport facility location. Our current service provider also is not too far away from there. Those are the, it's linked by elevated highway into the port of Colombo, port city and the Colombo port. and it's also linked into the Galle Harbour and the Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport and the Hambantota Magampura Mahinda Rajapaksa Port. So our Freeport solutions, we have, if you have global procurement, you can bring it by ocean, by air into our facility. Then we will bring it by truck into our facility from the ocean port or the airport. Receive, put away for storage. We do the picking, tallying, dispatch, storage, value-added services, and then truck back again to the port or the airport, again for global or regional supply. This can be both inward or outward. Inward into Bangladesh or outward into from Bangladesh via Colombo to the market. We are a compliant and transparent company. We have a ISO 9001 certification. We are trace certified. We are compliant with FCPA and other CGPAT, etc., etc. And we are ready to serve you whenever you want. These are a couple of the awards that we have won in Sri Lanka, which we are very proud of. We have the National Chamber of Exporters Awards, Global Commerce Excellence Awards, National Business Excellence Awards, Presidential Export Awards, and then many awards from the airline and the shipping line partners. These are some of our contact details. So my name is in the center. I'm the managing director of the holding company. We have a regional director for freight and logistics, which is Gayan. His contact detail, you can contact him for any freight and logistics opportunities that you may have. And on the contract logistics side, which we are pretty decent and well experienced, you can contact Anush Jayasinghe, and his contact details are also available. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And if there's any questions, I would like to take it on.
Mr. Laundry, for your presentation. So we came to the final presentation. Mr. Anuradha Suryarachi, Executive Director, CL Synergy Limited, to do the presentation.
He logs in. I would like the attendees to post any questions through the chat box, or maybe raise your hand if you have any questions after this presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, is my presentation clear to all of you? Is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible. Put it on slideshow mode.
Sure. All right. As explained by my colleagues from the industry, I would not touch based on the areas that they have already touched, because we have, as a country, we have combined services alongside with all the other partnering companies in Sri Lanka, like Expo Lanka, Hayleys, and MAC. So I will go through the presentation on touching on specific further additions that we can do via Colombo. I mean, Entreport business is one business that we, as CL Synergy, as a company, has been promoting right through, not only in Sri Lanka, but focusing on the main hubs like Singapore, Dubai, Oman, and various other parts. This product is, because as we all know, we are strategically located. We are one country we can feed in and send out cargo at the fastest routes, because Sri Lanka being strategically located, we have the direct services on both air and sea. So I will touch base on the areas that my other colleagues from the industry didn't touch. One requirement is that we have created opportunities for countries which has issues such as, I mean, if you look at certain countries has no access to the world trades, and certain countries have issues with regard to embargoes like Iran, like Syria, like Qatar. So all these countries, and also trade agreement issues. So Sri Lanka comes, I mean, we plays the role of being a trader in Sri Lanka, where we buy on behalf of other companies in the world and route it via Colombo, and then be the exporter from Sri Lanka. Few very specific services that we can do as Port of Colombo. We can bring in a container and re-export the same container by just changing the container seal. So for an instance, I have a container which can come from India, which would go to Pakistan via Colombo as a local container with a fresh BL which will be issued in Sri Lanka. The same container can be used. And the second option is we can do a rework inside port, which is container to container, so that the service is extremely fast. We are looking at 24 hours, below 24 hours total connection in Sri Lanka. I mean, we even have the capability of discharging a container from one vessel and load the export after reworking the container onto the same vessel, because this happens inside the port. Sri Lanka Ports Authority, Sri Lanka Customs, and all the other stakeholders support on this business has been really nice. I mean, that helps us to have the most efficient reworking process and reloading cargo back to wherever we are supposed to send it. Also, Sri Lanka is a country that, we have, together with EDB, we have worked hard in getting the new national policy for interport trading to ease out the process and improving the services via Colombo and the efficiencies. Also, Sri Lanka Port has the fastest turnaround time, even against Singapore and Dubai. The traders can trade via Colombo on no foreign exchange basis, where payments for the product had not to be routed via Colombo. They can only make the payments for handling and then bring their cargo to Sri Lanka and then ship it wherever it is possible. For an instance, I mean, the payment transactions can be happening from one country to the other, but the cargo will be routed via Colombo. Also, Sri Lanka Port, I mean, we have currently we handle through the port directly all types of cargo such as alcohol products, tobaccos, garment items, shoes, chemicals, confectionery items, even candles, which are coming from Czech Republic going into USA. On top of that, Sri Lanka, I mean, we have this concept of bringing in bulk to the port and then shipping it out in loose loads. We can bring in about 10 containers and store it inside the port, and then we can re-export it based on the client's requirement on LCL or FCL basis on the quantities of requirement. So this is one product that some of the clients who have no access to, no direct access to ports in the world, they can bring the cargo into the port, store it there, and load it as the requirement arises. Specifically on Bangladesh, as Andre also touched, we are the best port to handle their sea-air movements. We bring in either it comes in sea or air via Colombo. We can handle the exports to various countries, because Bangladesh can reduce about 14 to 20 days of transit time whenever, delayed orders or any other requirement arises. When they route via Colombo, they can reduce their transit times by 14 to 21 days. So overall, together with all the facilities of free ports that my industry colleagues explained, Sri Lanka has the best product, which is most cost-effective, fastest, and with all the required facilities such as relabeling, branding, or etc. So Sri Lanka port is the best, especially for Bangladesh when it comes to routings. So we welcome all inquiries to come in where we can support and develop further on this business. That's all from me, because all other areas have been already followed by the colleagues. So I would not take more time. And thank you very much, EDB, for arranging this webinar.
Thank you, Mr. Anuradha, for your informative presentation. So now we came to the very important session, that is Q&A. So I would like to invite our director, Ms. Sindhumini Kodikar, to facilitate the session.
Thank you, Priyadarshini. Okay, now we have listened to many industry presentations, the overview of the industry, and High Commissioner also spoke about the facilities, like how he could facilitate the industry. So I would like to ask any question if the attendees have. Please, you may raise your questions now. If you have any intention to partner with the Sri Lankan logistics industry, or maybe come and invest. We have not received any chat messages, but yes, I can see a raised hand, please. Can you talk a little louder, please? Hello. We can hear you, but talk a little louder. You can unmute your mic and talk. Yes.
Okay. Congratulations for all those good presentations done by the private and government sector. I'm also happy that we were given an understanding about the logistics, especially both the aviation and also by nautical connections. One of the questions we often confront with the Bangladesh end is that they want to know what kind of concession the government provides, especially what are the tax concessions. One company was asking me whether they will be provided with land for storage facilities, because some of them were interested bringing their semi-products, completing the product here and re-exporting. So we didn't have any kind of information about this. So maybe somebody can tell us about this concessions the government provides to investors.
Your Excellency, the land available is in 7 places. That's I have already mentioned in my presentation. That is in the export processing zones and the port and the airports. And the concession for these activities for entrepot, the minimum investment is $5 million. And for other offshore businesses, 1 million. And for logistic services, that is 3 million. And the foreign investment from foreign sources, at least 65% of the total investment should come from the foreign sources. That is the requirement we have. And for all the construction materials and the equipments, when they are bringing down within the project implementations period, are duty-free for hub operations.
Okay.
For the construction of their buildings and racking or whatever it is, and other machineries and equipments are duty-free within that project implementation period.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Your Excellency, I think Mr. Arif Usman, I think wanted to talk, but hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
We heard him a little while ago, but we can see a raised hand as well.
Chinese New Year তুমি কোম্পানিতে আমি গেস্ট অফ অনার হলে এটা হয় নাকি তুমি গেস্ট অফ অনার তোমার কোথায় করতেছো এটা
Sorry, we didn't get your question.
আচ্ছা
Hello.
কোথায় হবে এটা কয় তারিখে
Can you please ask in English?
আমি এমনি যাব তোমরা অন্য গেস্ট অফ অনার করো আমি তো এমনি যাব এটা
You may have to speak in English, please.
ঠিক আছে আমি তো এমনি যাব তোমার এখানে এখন
I think, yeah, we don't get it. Yes. If the attendees have any other questions, please pass it on to the High Commission so that we can get it. Mr. Arifuzima has put a chat also, but there's nothing on it.
Yeah, you can send it in writing.
Yes.
Yeah. Because our point person is Srimali, Secretary for Trade and Commerce.
Srimali, if you can put the address on the chat box, then they can get it down now. Any other questions? Okay.
So I just want to mention that the PTA is slowly evolving.
মাসুম খাবার আনতে গেছিল
Yes, we can hear now. Yes, Your Excellency, go ahead. Because I think.
No, I just wanted to tell everybody the PTA is slowly evolving. I think in a short period, it might come into effect. So that will augment again the facilities for our logistics. And just wanted to keep you all posted on that. There are just a little loose ends we are trying to happen.
He's from Shippers Council of Bangladesh, I think. Arif Usman, Shippers Council of Bangladesh. So I don't know what he wants to. If Srimali could just check with him what he exactly wanted to ask for, maybe whatever clarification, please send it across after checking with him.
Yeah, I will check and let you know.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Syed Mohammed Arif also has some question. I can see he's raising the hand.
Yes. Mr. Said Mohammed.
Personal DBS, right? Then income tax.
Then
DBS.
Then income tax.
That's all.
Latest one.
2022 and your bank statement. I
think we have a language problem.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Yes.
I am from Bangladesh Shipping and Assistant. You are here?
Yes.
So, thanks to Honorable Sri Lanka High Commissioner to invite our association to join this program, and we we already noted your message and your things and presentation, and we also recorded it, and we will send it to our member for their understanding. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. It doesn't seem there are any questions now. Yeah.
Can these the presentations be shared with everybody who participated?
I hope so. We will send it to the High Commission so that
We pass it on, yes, because that will be useful so that they have in hand what could be done and whom to contact. Some of those details also contact details. Yeah.
December, November, October, something like
Or one letter in May, the site travel letter. We are stating here the Mohammed Shahid Jamal, Managing Director, this. Is monthly is yearly or month? Monthly.
I think it's some other conversation.
Director fee, SGD 25,000 or SGD.
Priyadarshini, then can we? Your Excellency, is there anything that you would like to mention? Otherwise, we can.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Priyadarshini.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Sindhumini. So before concluding the webinar, I'm honored to have the opportunity to deliver the vote of thanks at the at the end of this successful webinar. So on behalf of EDB, I'll take this opportunity to express our sincere appreciation to His Excellency Professor Sudarshan Seniviratne, the High Commissioner, Sri Lanka High Commission in Bangladesh, for the excellent support and assistance given in conducting this webinar. So I would like to offer my gratitude, Deputy High Commissioner and Ms. Srimali Chayaratne, First Secretary Commercial, for the continuous support given to success this webinar until the last moment. Further, a big thank you all stakeholders, association and chamber members who joined us today from the Bangladesh side and taking your time off even in your busy schedules. Also, my special thanks go to our speakers for the valuable contribution to this to make this program success. And we believe by participating in this webinar, all you had a good understanding of the potentials and capabilities of Sri Lanka logistics sector. And we welcome you all to connect with Sri Lanka and be success in your business. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Thank you.